Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Oh, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey goaltender Richard Shipman. Richard is currently playing in the Federal Prospects Hockey League for the Port Huron Prowlers. This is Ship's first official pro season. He plays junior hockey days in the USPHL Elite and USPHL Empire before playing 4 years of ACHA hockey with Stony Brook University before turning pro this season. So this is gonna be a fun episode and an episode in the making. So it's gonna be fun to get you on. So welcome to the show, Richard Shipman.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
Yeah,
a lot of good things about the show.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on. I know we just figured this out like last week, and we were just like, you know what, let's do it. And then you had some stuff come up, and then, but I'm glad we're able to get it done today and just have it be done. But to get things started, like how are you? How are things going with you in Port Huron?
Things are going pretty well, man. I think for a lot of guys, we're coming in with the right attitude. We're hitting a stride, I feel like. Dropped 2 to Watertown, but I think we played the right way. So I think a lot of guys took this bye week. We hit the ice, focused on some things, made sure to keep it loose, good energy. But like, I think we're ready for the end of the season, ready to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you guys are obviously you guys are in the playoffs because every team except the bottom team makes it. And you guys are 4th or 5th, I believe, right?
We're 5th.
So,
no, we're bottom, yeah. But
yeah. Yeah, but like things are at least going in like an upward trend for you guys. Besides like dropping a few games to Watertown, but like it seems like you guys have been rolling a little bit. So like how have those recent games been going when you have been winning?
When we have been winning, we play our game. I think personally, in my own opinion, I think the games that we lose is like over 50% of the reason of that is shooting ourselves in the foot. I think there are a couple guys around this league, especially on this team, who could say that we have a good team. We have guys on the team who can produce and make things happen. I think it's lack of making that happen sometimes, I guess you'd say, but like we have it. It's there.
Yeah, but like when you're on your game, like everyone's like going, everyone's buzzing, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of. I would think.
Yeah, especially with our unique situation behind the bench and stuff. Like it's a fun experience to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, what was the process like to sign in Port Huron? Because you came halfway through the year, right?
Yeah, mid-December.
Yeah, well, like, what was the process like to find Port Huron and get there?
Man, it was probably so far the craziest roller coaster of events that I've ever experienced. I it goes all the way back to Stony Brook on Long Island. Um, I'm there, supposed to go back for a 5th year. COVID hits. It takes ACHA played seasons and stuff. It was just our school and just what was going on around the world. Just people shutting down. They didn't want us playing, so we didn't get a season. Ended up getting knee surgery that year as well. So I mean, didn't miss a season. But as I was coming back from injury or from surgery, some of my teammates hooked me up with a bunch of pro guys they know down there on Long Island. Started doing some little underground skates. They welcomed me with open arms. It was a great experience. And those guys really helped me kind of like get myself out there, started putting my name out there and like trying to get into the pro game because a lot of them were already there. Some new, some have been there. Like this is from like AHL down to Fed, like guys. And the guy there, Mark Cole, who ran it, I owe him so much. He's helped me with this. And he told me to reach out to an old family friend from young hockey days. His son plays in the NHL right now, John Marino. I reached out to his dad, and he hooked me up. Got a few phone calls for me, and then I was working in 7-Eleven on Long Island 2 days before I'm about to go for like a month-long trip back to Mass to go see family because I hadn't seen them in a while. And I get a call getting invited to Worcester Railers free agent camp. And I'm like, holy crap, I'll be there. Like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm coming home for like a month too. Like, if you guys run any skates. And I skated with them for a month. They're like, yeah, definitely got to get you to our camp. Like, we like you. So that was a big thing for me. And as I waited for that to happen, it was like coming up. I'm like, hey, is the camp happening? The camp happening? And they're like, yeah, we'll let you know. The same day that kind of just like evaporates, because there was a whole thing like Islanders now share that affiliate with the St. Louis Blues. They don't need a free agent camp anymore. Blah blah
There's a
blah.
whole mess there.
Another buddy from a previous Stony Brook team hits me up. He's at like a men's league game with one of his bosses. I don't even know what he does. And he's like, hey, you want to be emergency backup for the New York Rangers? And I'm like, yeah. Man. And so like the same day that whole like the guy called me, was like, hey, the camp's not happening. I get the email like 20 minutes later, like, we hire you as one of the backups for the New York Rangers. So one step back, like when I was waiting and trying to find camps and stuff, and I got invited to the East Coast camp, Port Huron was one of the teams I had already paid for and signed up for their camp. Yeah. But when I got this East Coast thing and it was coming up, or the Port Huron day was coming up, I let them know. I texted Alex Johnson, and I was like, hey, like, I got this opportunity. I don't even gonna make it to your guys' camp. Don't worry about the money, like, whatever. And they're like, oh, let us know if things change. So now I'm at one of these I'm backing up one of these New York Ranger games. I took one of my goalie partners. We're just talking hockey up in the rafters of Madison Square Garden. And I'm like, dude, I should just send like an email to these guys. They said, let them know if things change. And I'm like, hey, like, things change. Like, what do you got? And they let me know like right away. They're like, can you fly out tomorrow? And this is when when Harney and Noonan were getting called up to the SP. So Slimer was here by himself. And they said it happened like that day. They were like, when they told me it happened that day, I was like, man, that's perfect. Just like, it all just fit together.
Yeah, it all comes full circle, and like there's an opportunity that like it lines up just perfectly like that day, and then you're on the flight the next day to go to Port Huron. Like that's just incredible. Like you go from the coast camp to that evaporating, and then the Rangers e-bug situation. Now you're in Port Huron, and just like all within a couple of days, and it's just like that must have been like overwhelming as well, just to, like, see everything happen. But like it's so exciting when that opportunity comes up.
Yeah, it was just it was like a couple weeks, but like it seemed like a couple days. Like, you're right. Like, it was so just like this, like East Coast didn't happen down here. Oh, you still got this. Like, it was everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the first experience like in Port Huron when you got there, when you came off the flight and were a Port Huron Prowler?
Um, my driver went to the wrong pickup point, so I had to wait like another half hour there. But I mean, I got here and I had been told stories and stuff about other places, and I still have the same opinion. I think for what we have here, I think gotta be pretty grateful. It's a decent roof over your head, not crowded whatsoever, decent enough facilities, like can't complain whatsoever. I feel pretty blessed to be here.
Yeah, that's all you can want is just like a good place to live, a good place to play, and just as long as it's like decent, like you're gonna take it no matter what. Even if it is bad and like you're playing pro hockey, like you're gonna take it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess being like a rookie and new guy, like with guys leaving, guys coming in, like you got to move your spot, move rooms a little bit. But so I guess I could wish for more rooms to be insulated, but
Yeah, but there's always more stuff to worry about though, for sure.
You know how many guys I've heard this year say like, "Yo, just give me $1,000, we'll renovate this place."
Wow. But then you go into Port Huron and you had a pretty memorable first set of games. Like you get in your first pro goalie fight, first pro win. Like what was that like first weekend like, and just like getting like everything out of the way just right away, right off the get-go?
So the New Year's Eve was officially like my first start in this league, but technically my first action was like back right before Christmas break. We're in Danbury, and like our Slimer is just getting left out to dry. Like, just game is not going our way.
Yeah.
Like, he takes himself out of the game. So like I go in for the last 8 minutes. Didn't let any in, thank God. Out of 8 shots.
Here we go.
But so I mean, like that was my first action. But being able to say I started my first game in a place like Columbus was an incredible experience. Not even like the events that happened afterwards, just the fact that like that arena with that quality of fans, that organization and what they do there is great. The type of game it was through and through, I thought it was a battle. I thought it was a great time.
Yeah, and like that's probably one of the best, if not the best arena in the Fed. Like you're playing in the Columbus Civic Center or whatever it's called, and you're just like, you can tell just from like YouTube footage and all that, like the fans are into it, and like especially when you got into it with a friend of the show, Bailey McBurney, like you can tell that like everyone was hyped. So, like what was it like? What were the events that led up to you and Bailey going at it?
So I mean, well, I also promised my family I'd clear this up. There was something that game. It was like, oh yeah, Shipman let up 10 goals, so he was pissed. And he just went after McBurney. I'm like, that's not how it happened at all. We were playing the game. It was a quick 4-0 deficit for us. I took out Harney in relief. I didn't think it was his fault whatsoever. And I let in two. So when the fight happened, it was 6-0. And Bailey pretty much explained it exactly how I saw it. I didn't see what prompted the scrum on my blue line in the second period. But like it was just a pile up. I didn't even know it was supposed to be a media timeout. I'm just literally sitting there like watching it happen, and then I look over, and he's just like racing in, and so I'm like, okay, like that's happening, and
It's going down.
So I just start coasting out, and then I see him notice me. He like curled away from the group more towards like the other part of the blue line, and that's like he said, we both were kind of just like, yeah, yeah. And I just started dropping my stuff. He dropped his stuff, and we squared up.
Yeah, that's unreal. It's unreal to have both guys like tell the same exact story and just how they saw it. And like you guys were cool about it after, and like you guys were laughing. That's what Bailey said. Is that what happened?
Yeah. I laughed my butt off when he said on his, he saw me watch it on my phone. And he was laughing at it. I was like, that's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, when it happened, like he got a quick jab in there, got me right on the forehead, had a little mark there. But yeah, then afterwards I saw him walk over, had a nice little stitch in his lip. But no, yeah, he was just like, hey man, great fight. I told him, I was like, yeah man, that was a great time. Like, good fight to you too. Hope you're okay. Like,
Yeah, ever gonna fight again, or are you just calling it a one unless like you need to help a teammate out or something like that?
am I ever gonna fight again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably. It almost happened when Watertown was at our place.
Really?
I
What happened there?
Well, I mean, that's in the making because it was when I was like I was a groin injury and I was watching other games and I watched Carolina play Watertown and I saw Cohen jump Paulin while he's drinking water, and I'm at the bar talking with the coaches afterwards. I'm like, that's some of the most gutless stuff I've ever seen. Like, if I'm playing and he's there when we're doing Watertown, like I'm getting into space, and they gave me the green light. So third game Watertown, I'm backing up, he's backing up. I get on the ice, I get on the red line, refs there too, so I couldn't do much. But I was like, because the second game before, he gets off his bench to try to get into a fight in the middle of the play. And so I got the red line warm-ups for the third game. I'm like, yo, let's stay on our benches today. And he's like, oh yeah. And then the first period ends, or one of the periods ends. I get off the bench. They're like all talking. I just stared him down. He starts talking, and so I'm just like, listen, man, like you jumped a kid while he was like drinking water. Like you deserve to get your teeth kicked in. And then I was notified by our trainer that he was the one who kept going and said that we're going to go after the game's over. So I'm sitting in the locker. I'm like, let's go. And game ends. Noonan got pulled like with like a minute left, trying to get that goal back, and it's like 8, 7, 6, 5. I'm like, I tap Noonan. I'm like, hey, let me out. And I get on the ice. I'm first one to center ice, and he's just over there with his gloves on. And I'm like, where you at? Like, and he's just over there talking. And I'm just like, yeah, because you only like going at guys who aren't looking at you first. Like, and then he starts taking his gloves off as soon as the ref grabs me. And I'm just like, this is childish.
So it's in the making. Probably gonna have something in the next time you play, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but like you've had a great experience so far in Port Huron, and you've been playing in a lot of games recently as well. So like, what's been like your favorite memory so far with playing in Port Huron? Because it's a great place to play.
In Port Huron,
Yeah.
it is a great place to play. The fans here are incredibly passionate about the program. They like, not even just the kids, like the adults are into it. They love this team. It's really fun to, especially after a big win, just go have your little post-game speech, and you leave your gear on, and we go out and do a little skate around with kids and stuff like that. So probably one of those. Just recently, there was a little girl, Annabelle's birthday, and she was really excited to be out there. Didn't even own skates, but had guys holding her hand, skating her around. And I had a stick that was pretty much banged up, but I got to write like "Happy Birthday, Annabelle," like signed it for her, and her face lit up. I was like, that melted me. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is making other people smile. Like you always know that as like a kid when you're growing up playing the game, like giving the players high fives, you know the feeling. And then when you get to actually like give the high fives to the little kid, like that's what makes everyone's day, and especially yours and the little girls.
Yeah, my parents said it to me like all the time growing up. They're like, when little kids would always try to come watch us, they're like, just always remember you were those little kids looking up to you. And it's like you hear NHL players say, you hear anybody say it, it's like you're paying it back, like, because no matter what league you're in, they just see a big big hockey player that they want to be one day, and you're just trying to like inspire them, or not inspire them, but you're just trying to grow their love for the game.
Love for the game. Yeah, exactly. And like even like when I go to like charity games and I'm playing them, like kids will line up and just like they see a big goalie come out from the ice. They're gonna
Especially the goalies with cool
yeah,
equipment.
they want to give you a high five and just have the time of your life there and just give them a high five, talk to them a little bit like that. That's all they want. Like, you know, from when you're little, like that's all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also throughout like those first like the first couple weeks that you were there, you also got your first pro win. So what was your first pro win and like, and just the feeling of just getting that first pro win and just having like all the emotions come out from you?
Um, I thought it was incredibly special. It was because like everything through and through about it was just a great experience. Like I got to have my first pro win at my team's home arena. It was against the team I had my first pro start, and we didn't get the win. The fight. So there was like, for me at least, being a new kid, it was like I've seen these guys before. Like the pregame, like just prepping for the game, just like never having confidence, just go do my thing. I know what I'm doing. And I went out there. I thought I had a pretty good performance, and the whole weekend, we won 2 out of the 3, and both of them, like I thought I had a big hand in that, and I felt great at the end. So like, just every which way it went down, I was extremely grateful.
Yeah, and those moments gets you buzzing, the boys buzzing, like, and then
Yeah,
you guys just keep getting the momentum going, and like it starts a winning streak, like starts like everyone feeling good, and like that's what it's all about.
yeah, definitely.
So like with this being like your first pro season, like you said, like you face a lot of ups and downs throughout the seasons. Like what are some of the ups and downs that you face, and like how do you overcome those obstacles that you face?
Um, Probably the most persistent up and down, and it's a testament to like something I need to work on. But it's just like the frustration sometimes, just uh kind of tying back into what I said before, just like shooting ourselves in the foot. And I think it's a big deal with us. Like if that just didn't happen, I think we could be 2-3 spots higher. True, like if we were truly consistently playing 60 minutes, I think we could jump a few spots, no question about it. Um, so just like when you want to see the guys you're grinding with do better, and you know they want to do better, but like it always like don't. There's just nothing you can do about it, because you just got to focus on you, and that's one of the biggest things I learned becoming a pro is just like just do what you got to do, and that's all you can really do. And it ties back to something one of my favorite coaches from back in juniors used to tell me, is just like control what you can control, and that's all there is to it. Like there's nothing you can do about it, so why worry about it?
Yeah, though that's huge because like once you're controlling what you can control, like that's the only thing that you have power over. Like there's a lot of things like bounces that happen, like you can't control that or like anything like that. And just you got to focus on like being in the present moment as well, and just focusing on your job, which is stopping the puck at that time and just trying to help give everything you got and like help the team get the chance to get that W.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what was your first, before we go on to juniors here a little bit, like, what was like that first like pro moment where you're like, what the fuck is going on? Or was it just like the goalie fight or anything like that?
It's probably the bus, the poor Huron bus. Rest in peace, though. That
Oh
thing
yeah,
died.
I did hear about your bus.
Yeah. Now we got 2 that we don't know which one to use. But yeah, just like it was the funniest thing, because the first time, like, so I flew in and dressed, backed up the second of a 3-game series with Carolina. So first day they beat them like 7-1. I came in, we lost, and then we're leaving that night that I flew in to go to Carolina to play one game. So like I walk out of the rink with all my stuff and I just see this old bus with half-assed, washed off loser written on the side. I'm just like, guys, what is this bus? But it was kind of cool because it was like a custom bus. They literally took out the middle of the seats and just threw in mattresses. So like for the vets, I guess it was sick. And
A little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah, a little bit of a sleeper. Emphasis on a little bit.
Yeah, a little, but that's an interesting way to wake up to pro. Is just the bus, and like you always have like the long bus trips. So what's been the longest bus trip that you've had so far?
Man, that Biloxi trip was hell. So like this bus is so old, like tops out at 70 miles an hour.
You're not going anywhere fast.
No. And like that's the thing, we would try to. So like clearly like you're supposed to drive this thing, especially for how long we were driving, like supposed to be 22 hours by car. This is by bus. And so like you're probably supposed to be cruising at like 50 to make sure this thing's alive. But we're hitting 70 the whole way. Like we're topping this thing out. And with this bus, the way you keep it running when you do that is you have to have the heat on. So like to keep it from overheating, you had to have the heat on. So like
you would think it'd be the opposite,
right? So halfway through this trip to Biloxi, we got the heat blasting, and we're heading just south and more south, so it's getting warmer. By the end of this trip, the majority of the guys were just stretched out across that bus in their underwear, just trying to not die.
Yeah, because it's so high, especially in Mississippi. It's probably like 80, 90 over there, and then you're probably 100 in the bus right now.
I think that was a trip I took in my first month of being a pro too. So which was like all my roommates too. They're like, man, you came at a hell of a time.
What do you do for 20 or 22 hours that's supposed to take by car, but probably more with the bus? What do you do during that time? Just sleep and try to take your mind off the long drive?
You pick a show to rewatch. I'm actually going through Peaky Blinders again right now myself. Yeah, either that or we would just talk with the boys, music, literally just whatever mind-numbing thing you could do to just get through that trip.
Yeah, that's what I would think would be going on, just trying to take your mind off everything, like the bus, and then just trying to bond with the boys as well, because even though like it's a long trip, like the bus rides are where you bond with the boys on the road trips. Like that's the best moment about taking roadies.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy you say that too with the Humboldt anniversary just coming up, like that. Rest in peace for that. So that I remember that happened. Like you said, like that is just your second home. You're with your brothers, like that's your family in your home, traveling to go do what you love, and just yeah.
Rest in peace, Humboldt. It's just sad, and like those are the best memories that you make is with the boys on the road.
100%.
Yeah. So then going into your junior career a little bit here, you began your journey in junior hockey with the South Shore Kings and the USPHL Empire. So what was it like to sign to play juniors in South Shore in the USPHL?
That was another incredible opportunity I got that I will forever be grateful for, because I'm from that area. I grew up playing for one of those local high schools, so like every chance I got after our high school practices, I'd be up in the stands watching the South Shore practices go on. So I like being able to like play juniors for them and actually make it happen was a big deal for me. And my first year in Empire, like what made it was like it was surreal at first, because it it was Empire at the time, but this is before like NCDC and all that. So it was like Premier Elite Empire.
Yeah.
Me, one of my best friends still to this day, and a talented guy we got from out in Texas. We like got 3 C's. So and I was like, that was a great experience to have a C for our South Shore King team. And then the next year was a very challenging year. It was a coach who was very tough on us, pushed us. Wasn't the best year you could ask for, really. It was definitely a learning experience and a motivating experience, but it was a tough one. But like, good things came out of it because it happened.
Yeah, for sure. And like your first year, you play in 17 games, which is a lot, since like it was your first rookie season. Like a lot of like guys would get like the backup gig and all that and not start as much. Like what was it like getting that experience right out the back and just being able to play in those 17 games and get the experience in the USPHL?
That coach I played for that year, he definitely showed a lot more trust in me. And what happened with my goalie partner that year was actually one of my good friends. So it was literally the whole year. We literally just did one or the other.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that never got broken up, I think was a testament to him as well. Because we were friends, I think we pushed each other. We pushed each other's performances, which I think is one of the most important things when it comes to a team, is for your goalies to push each other. And I mean, just because it didn't happen that second year, whether it was promised to or not, or you thought it should have happened, like having a coach trust you and put you in those situations and know that you're going to get the job done, and then try to manage the team out in front of you. It was nice to have that early on and not have to just really grind from the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, for sure. And just going back to like the goalies, like you gotta push each other, because like you're a duo or a tandem, whatever you want to call it, and like you're fighting for minutes as well, but like you're also trying to push each other to be better every day. Like that's super important, is to just treat practice like a competition, because it is when you think of it, because you're fighting for that time. And like I feel like that builds a bond between goalies as well, because you're fighting for that time. And like if you're not playing and the other guy's playing, like you're his biggest fan, and then vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what was that transition going from youth hockey to the USPHL, but when you took that next step?
That was a definite slap in the face, because one of my old goalie coaches, Jim McNiff, he used to be the Providence College goalie coach, worked for did a lot of goalie coaching in the area. And like I had a conversation with him about it, because like in high school, like 2 days before the official tryout sign up, like is when I decided to be goalie, because I only started playing goalie when I was 13.
Yeah.
And I used to be a defenseman, and so like in that middle school area, I would play like on every year. It would be like one team as a defenseman and then a different team in another league or whatever as a goalie. Yeah. And then when it came time to high school, I felt like me falling behind as a defenseman. I thought I could handle it as a goalie, so I was like, I'm gonna go as a goalie. Made varsity my freshman year, which was in a very surreal moment, and then became starter sophomore through senior, and was treated like, I hate when you see it happen to guys, but it was one of those things where it's like you could do no wrong. Yeah. And so going from like that kind of an environment where like you're treated just like royalty, to then getting buried in a lineup, not having clear communication with what's going on, or not just straight out performing over people, just like all that kind of stuff. It was just like, this is a whole other world. It was you had to be quick at getting used to it.
Yeah.
Which I struggle with, I guess, a little bit, but I mean, it was like, I'm grateful for how quick those experiences happened because it made me have to be quicker on my feet in adapting to situations.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and what brought you to being a goalie at 13? Since like you are older at that time than like when goalies would normally switch over to goalie. So like, what drew you to the position?
Well, most first it was Tim Thomas. I'll always credit him. He's the reason I wanted to become a goalie. I grew up watching him and guys like Ray Croft and guys in Boston, but he was my favorite by far. And I had an interest when I was younger. Got to do one of those things on a team where like they pass around the pads to everybody.
Yeah.
You get a chance. I liked it, but didn't do anything with it after. And I was getting older and older, and I just kept having these thoughts. I was like, I really want to like try this for a year. Like, I wonder what would happen if I played a season as a goalie. And like the most respect to my parents because they've preached my whole life. Like, you like experience what you can experience, and just like right now, I'm chasing my dream playing pro hockey. It's like you only get to do this once. You're only 26, 27 once. Like I was 12, 13. They're like, well, if you want to try it, like let's try it before you get too old to try it. And that's history.
You gotta have no regrets. You gotta experience everything you can. And if you're gonna push for it and go for your dreams, you might as well do it and not regret anything at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Since Tim Thomas was the reason that got you into goaltending, what do you think of his pads when he had the missed combo in Dallas, or it was either Dallas or Florida when he had like the terrible combination with like the green and the red?
I think he was in Dallas just fresh from Florida. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed because
every set of equipment was a different color. It seemed like.
Man, it was a tough time for that. Go from just the 2011 performance, to that was just it broke my heart.
Yeah. And did you ever wear like a helmet like Tim Thomas did with like the bucket combo?
I never did, but growing up in high school, our biggest rival, I was like friends with like 90% of their team. Their goalie, shout out Mike Donadio from Franklin, Massachusetts. He rocked that like off cage that Tim Thomas wore with the bucket. I loved it. He would.
Wait, would you rock it?
Would I rock it? I would rock it for like one of the special jersey nights.
Yeah.
100%. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, whatever. That would be sick, and like you'd be stylish. You'd be looking good out there. Like that's what it comes down to. Like look good, feel good, play good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But then going into your second year of juniors, like you said, it was not as good as like your first year, and like you had to go through like motivation and all that. Like what was like the motivation that kept you going, especially like when like everything with like the coaching staff and the team and everything like went another way?
Well, it was actually something the coach had said to me, because like every kid whose dream is to play like take hockey as far as they can. You want to play for the best. So like, especially growing up in New England, it's like you want to play for those D1 colleges. You want to all that. Like, everyone wants that. And I mean, like, even though I knew it was a reach, I was like, talking to them about colleges. They were talking with me about Stonehill College, the college right there locally.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you could probably go to Stonehill. Like, and I was like, they just don't have anything I want. So I don't really want to go there. And one of the coaches, I won't name which one, but like he said, listen, you're never going to make a dime playing hockey. And as innocent as that sounds to it, you're telling a kid playing juniors trying to just go play college hockey. Like my goal is always to have called myself a pro hockey player. Like, and when he said that, like, that little fire under my ass, that's still there to this day. Like with that game in Columbus, like when I'm hunched over, ready to go out there for like the start of the game, like you can bet your ass that was going through my head. Like, I'm about to send you this dime in the mail. Like, I'm a pro hockey player tonight. But like, it was because like at the beginning of the year, I had a pretty strong tryout for that team where a guy I was close with in the organization was like, you better like go demand a contract. I was told I was going to be the starter, splitting time with another friend. And being from that area and a lot of talented organizations in high school and juniors and whatnot in that area, like I was friends with a lot of guys. So me and another friend became goalie partners on this team again. And when I played the first game against the Bay State Breakers, we won 11-5. But because I let in 5 iffy ones, I got benched for 3 months.
Yeah. Whole.
And yeah, it's a little rough. But
that's a little bit harsh.
Yeah, after being told you were going to be the starter.
Yeah.
But like having friends there, having guys that you believed in, like that you knew could play great hockey and could go do things, like you wanted good things for them. So like you as pissed as I was at what was happening to me, what motivated me was like, this is still a chance that I'm here to still get better. Yeah. I have to come out here with the right attitude for these guys so like they can get, because no one wants to shoot on a pissed off goalie who's not trying his hardest. Like you trying your hardest is improving your teammates as much as you can improve them. Yeah. So like it was really just like trying to be there for my teammates, trying to go through all that.
Yeah, and that just goes up the chain. Like once you're giving everything you got, everyone else, like from the fourth line on, like everyone's gonna get that same energy, and like everyone's gonna improve because like once like you have that one like toxic guy in the locker room, like that's when everything kind of like deflates and everything.
And like that's what was special about that year though, is because like while there was all this just like stuff going on, not even just with me, like there were other guys who had their own vices with what was happening. Yeah. There were guys on the team that rubbed people the wrong way. But I can tell you, like that group especially, like there were a couple guys that rubbed me the wrong way. But first round of the playoffs, we beat Portland Pirates in overtime, and like the photo of all of us jumping on each other there, like that was one of the sweetest moments of that year because of all the battling. And it's like, you had like the guys that you didn't like in your face just being like, hey, suck it up, like work in practice. Just like, like you don't like, that's not the guy you want telling you that, but you're like, yeah, he's right. Like, let's just keep going.
Yeah, you're going through adversity and everything. And like when like you beat a team like that, like it boosts everyone's energy, everyone's like motivation, and everything to keep going to the next round, and then the next game, and like it just carries on like a whole new cycle.
Exactly.
And then going with the doubters, like the doubters are the ones that fuel you, because like I've had the same thing. Like I'm working towards pro hockey too, and it's just you always have those doubters, and that lights a flame, and you just gotta keep going. Like when you don't want to do something, like don't want to get out for an early workout, an early skate, like that's what fuels you, is what the doubters have been saying.
That's one of the biggest, like if there's probably a couple, but easily top 2 lines ingrained in my brain from my college coach. It's life is full of things that you just don't want to do, but you have to do them. So I mean, just like
exactly, that's what it's all about. So then after your junior career concluded, that leads us into college, where you commit to play at Stony Brook University. So why was Stony Brook the right school for you?
Well, because not even that Stonehill showed interest, but it was really only the college that showed interest / seemed like a good enough fit. We went down there to play the PAL Islanders, my South Shore Kings team, and this is within 2 weeks of like starting to get serious playing time again on South Shore. So like I have a big game against PAL. I get told like the Stony Brook coach wants to talk to me, shows me the locker room, tells me about the school, all this stuff, and I was like, damn, like this seems like a spot. And afterwards, I tell the coach, I'm like, hey, like I loved all of this. I actually am pretty interested in this. Let me get back to you at the end of the year. just started getting serious playing time again. Just want, like, playoffs are coming up, just like want to get this done, and then we'll address it. And it was another one of those tough, like, adverse situations where the doubters, man. So this guy said when he talked to me after that, he's like, "We want you to come be our starter." And season ends. It's still within the week of the season ending, and my Kings coach calls me like, "Hey, you should probably call that Stony Brook guy." I'm like, "Sounds good." Call him up, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I found these two other guys that I like a little bit more than you. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with them. You're still welcome to come here, but you're not guaranteed anything."
Yeah.
And right there and then I was like, "Yeah, like I'm still coming. Like I'll
like
be there."
shit, but it's time to put that work in.
Yeah. And my first year there, I think I only played like 4 games. I was behind those 2 freshmen that came in with me. So we had 3 freshmen and a junior goaltenders at the start of the year. Finished with just us 3. The other one left for Oklahoma, I think it was. And then those 2 guys stayed for like another year or 2 before like both of them quit the team. And then it was me and D3 kid Sean Keating that came in, and he was a good partner to have. He was a very talented goaltender.
Yeah, that's like all you need to push you and put you to push him as well as like that good partner, and like having that like good understanding that you both have a job to do and you're gonna make yourself better is by competing and pushing yourselves, because like some days like it's hard to like you probably get pissed off about at each other, but like at the end of the day like he's just trying to push you and you're just trying to push him to get better.
Yeah. Like one of the other freshmen that first year played nationals that first year as a freshman. And then into our sophomore year, it was that kid who played nationals, Payne Yoder, and me kind of like battling it out for the starting spot. And that was a good chemistry to have. Like, I'm very fortunate to have had goaltender partners who are down about that kind of vibe, with just like, we're here for each other. So like me and him would push each other. He got hurt, I'd have to take games, and he's like, "I don't want to be out, but like I'm rooting Ship on." And same with me, like he's playing some big games, and I'm just like, I want to be out there, but it's like he's rooting for him to get the job done.
That's all you can ask for it. But like, what was that like some of the biggest things that you learned that first year, especially like when you weren't playing so often, is just to be that good teammate and just push everyone else to be their best?
It felt like a continuation from that Kings year. Just kind of like you're still a little buried down here. You just gotta be a positive force. Like just don't be a negative. Don't be a reason to not want for them not to want you around. Be something they want to keep around. Be a good teammate to your brothers. Just try to. And then at the end of the day, it was also like I was there for an education, and I wanted to have a positive experience in that whole other light. Yeah. So it was just like, even if it wasn't going my way on the rink, I really had to tell myself to just be like, don't let this ruin everything else. Just like, take things in stride.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do is take things in stride. So then you grind out for freshman year and you get to play in 11 games your second year. So like, what was it like to see yourself develop from that first year to your second year and gain like the valuable experiences from playing in 4 games your first year to putting everything you learned into 11 games your second year?
I mean, when it comes to things learned, I can't credit anyone other than the training staff I have in my off season, especially back then. The attention to detail of the organizations that I worked with just like is top notch. Are you familiar with the Foxborough area? Edge Performance.
I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Edge Performance Systems. off-ice group up there. They train the Patriots,
Yeah.
handful of NHL players. Like they run the off season, or they were running my off season workouts, and then I would do stop at goaltending with Noonan around the Boston area, and they have the best talent, the best coaches for goalie schools that you could ask for, and this like there was just so much thing. They run a camp there too, so like we would do a camp where it's like 2 sessions a week for 8 weeks, and like that was like your on ice training.
Yeah.
But then they also offered this like boarding camp where for a week you would go like live at Merrimack College's dorms, but like do a goalie camp. Like they'd give you breakfast, you'd go for a video session, have your skate, do yoga, do an off ice, another video session, and then go to bed for like 4 days. And they literally have coaches from Canada, Sweden, Finland, Russia. Like Scotty Bowman was there. The Bruins goalie coaches were there. Andrew Raycroft has been a goalie coach there. Just like the staff that they bring in and the way they set it up, just like one of my favorite quotes from them is, and every young athlete in any sport and any whatever should know this, is like, when a coach is teaching you something, no matter if you agree with it, no matter if you think it's relevant, no matter if you think you'll even use it at ever, pay attention and try to see what they're trying to teach you about what they're showing you, because stuff like that, it's a tool for your toolbox. It's there if you need it.
Yeah.
And the amount of tools that 1 week alone would give you, me, Noonan, the guys we met there, we all would say that 1 week was just like a whole nother summer on top of this one. Just like so much knowledge, like the best of the best. So just like getting the viewpoints from that kind of a staff, the resources they give you to look at your own game and tweak it. So like you're not having someone else tell you what you should do, you're seeing it and being able to visualize it and internalize it yourself to then make the changes, I think is a really important part of tweaking your game. And the way they set it up for young athletes to do that, I thought was just instrumental in how I was able to improve in college, especially.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge point, because like when you do, like you see some kids that don't pay attention during practice and just talk with their buddies, but like if you actually, like, that's a big point, it's just taking everything in, even if you don't agree with it, and just having that extra tool in your toolbox, like you said, and just to be able to just have in case you ever need, or you ever like visualize yourself within, like internally, out, externally, whatever. And like that's a big point, I think, and like that's what everyone should learn from as well.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think video is the biggest thing. Like if I could look at some video, like I think you can make your own changes, drastic changes with just that.
Yeah, like during my summer skates, like I'll bring out my phone, in a tripod, and like I'll just record myself, and like you could tweak so much just watching video, and I could sit there for hours. Just like I'll even do it in the cafeteria at school, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm watching video of myself and tweaking like what I can do better. Like
film session, brother.
Yeah, just gotta find ways to get better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so then your third and fourth year, you played 21 games and 16 games. So like, what were those last 2 years like for you, and being the guy for Stony Brook, and just being able to gain those experiences to help you better prepare for eventually becoming a pro?
There was a coach that came in who really helped me. He wasn't even a goalie coach, but I could come to him with like goalie things. And my freshman year of college, I think, is like when my confidence I was actually able to build some confidence.
Yeah.
Because like I was my own worst critic, my own worst enemy in my head, like through all those junior years, whatever. Even as successful as high school was, I was not like confident in what I could do. But starting freshman year with just some people I had with me and just changing my mindset, that's when it started to build. And by the time I got to senior year, and I had this coach to really help me drive that forward, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
that was definitely the biggest thing preparing me for this, because if you can't believe you can stop that puck, or if you don't believe that that you're reading the game the way you need to be reading the game in that net, or whichever facet of it, like you're not going to be successful. So I think being able to really hone in my mental strength, my confidence, and belief in who I was as a player really came into view those 2 years.
Yeah, and confidence is huge, like you said. Like if you're not confident stopping the puck, you're not going to stop the puck. Like especially like because like when you start thinking about it, like say like you gave up a few softies like the game before, and you start thinking about it, what do you think is going to happen? You're probably going to give up a few softies the next game because you're thinking about it so much. But just having that confidence and like trusting like the training and the work you've been putting in, just everything that you have leading up to the season, like if you're doing everything right, like you should be able to have that confidence to help your game and help yourself get to that next level.
Yeah, because it was like those 2 years were like a family. Like two of the closest teams groups I've ever been a part of were those 2 years. And like basically that coach would just tell me like, listen, everyone here trusts you. Like when you're out there in the net, it's just like you got to go out there and know what you're doing. And it's like I'd have those kind of talks with them, and like I said, like that's just like it was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have a few more questions before we get to the viewer Q&A really quick. So what are some tips for goaltenders looking to get to that next level?
Just the next level in general, or like to the pro?
Yeah, or let's go like next level, like they're whatever, like AA, AAA, like juniors to college to pro.
I think the most important thing is to always be better than you were yesterday. If you can attack, like when you go for your practices, bare minimum, when you go to your practices and you're just looking at it sports wise, like go in there, address who you were as an athlete the day before or the session before, and see how you can do something better, something with greater intensity, something with greater focus or with greater control. And if you can have that kind of a mindset, I don't think no matter where you are, then you're going to make some kind of improvement, and it's going to just build and build and build.
Yeah, that's a big tip that everyone can use to get to that next level and learn from themselves as well. So my next question for you is, what's your favorite and least favorite building to play in?
Least favorite building, man, probably Delaware. Favorite building, because I played there, it has to be not Biloxi, Columbus. I would have said Biloxi, but I was on the bench.
Yeah, but that's a great option though for favorite building though. It's called Columbus for sure.
Yeah.
But my next question is, what's your favorite pump up song? Like you're trying to get a lift in, listen to this before warm ups. Like this song comes on in pregame warm ups. Like what are you listening to?
So probably there's way too many to count throughout the years, but I guess if I had to name one song that's survived all the way back from back in the day, it'd have to be Cinderella Man by Eminem.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one before, and I think it's a pretty good one. That's a solid choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's get on to some viewer Q&As. We have three questions for you. So Lee's favorite coach, and why is it Coach P?
What was it?
I don't know. He said Lee's favorite coach, and why is it Coach P?
Probably he's probably has the right one, and it was because of the whole situation, and juniors promised some things. Just we won a game, I got benched for 3 months, and
It's that one.
Yeah. And then coming back after my freshman year at Stony Brook, Thanksgiving break, and I'm skating with that team, and like both that coach and the assistant coach were behind me, and they were like, he looks at me and goes, "Man, Ship, I wish I played you more. You're the only one who actually went off to do something." And the assistant coach looks at him and goes, "Yeah, no shit."
That's funny, and just that's just hilarious, and just especially the no shit part. Like
Yeah.
that's funny. But the next question I have is, who stole your Jeep's tire cover?
We don't know. My first car was that was given to me was a Jeep Wrangler, an '08 Jeep Wrangler Ultimate, and my family as like a Christmas present, or like it might have been, I don't remember who got it for us, but it was like a tire cover that had the high school Hornet logo, said Mansfield Hockey, and had like Shipman on it. And after a game, I didn't even notice, but like it was gone. And we're like, a fan definitely like took it off.
A
We have
fan
some
wanted
other
your tire
theories.
cover.
Yeah, right. Why the tire cover? We have some other theories, but nothing's landed.
Yeah, I guess that's a very valuable piece that someone wanted to steal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
I'll
the
sign it for
final.
you if you want to bring it back.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But the final question I have is, what's your biggest weakness? Fool said that.
Chocolate cake, baby. The story on that, it was one of the games when Columbus was at home. I think it was the first pro win. We're sitting in the tunnel, ready to go out. Columbus is in front of us. Grant Mentis is sitting in a chair right in front of me. I'm like just sitting there focused, looking to go out. And I hear him. He goes, "Hey, 40, what's your weakness?" And I just looked him dead in the eyes and just went, "Chocolate cake." And ever since then, Dalton J, especially, it's Dalton J's favorite thing. He goes, "Get some chocolate cake in your ship, babe."
That's one way to tell him what your weakness is.
Yeah.
That's unreal though. But Ship, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with the rest of the season. I look forward to following your career the rest of the way.
Thank you. I had a blast coming on. It was a great time, and I appreciate all the support.
Yeah, absolutely.